Hello, friends. I am Kahmeela, and this is episode 3 of the Rugged Angel podcast. If this is your first time, welcome, and I hope you stay. If you're returning, welcome back. I want to first apologize for this episode being so late, and there is some information in this episode that no longer applies. Apologize. I went to Florida for a few days and forgot about all my responsibilities when I got hit with all that beautiful sunlight and warm weather. But I promise to be more diligent from now on. So this week, I chat with Njaimeh Njie. She's a lovely young lady who is racking up life experiences and making moves in the indie film community here in Pittsburgh and beyond. And she is just really getting started. So make sure you keep her on your radar. You don't want to miss anything she does. So without further ado, let's talk to Njaimeh. I know how it is to have a difficult name at times, so I'm very conscious of trying to make sure I don't mess up other people's names. And Jamie, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. I'm glad you
Yeah.
decided to do this.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out.
Oh, no problem. I always I notice that you're doing things in the community, and I appreciate that. It's not too many. I mean, there's a lot of young Black females that are doing stuff here in Pittsburgh, and I like to encourage all of us, all of them that are doing something. So yeah, let's get into you. Let's talk about you.
Oh boy, this should be my favorite subject, but it's not really.
I get that. I sometimes have a hard time just talking about myself as well.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get over that today.
All right. It's
we're
like
gonna
therapy.
Yeah,
Therapy
exactly.
podcasting. Okay, I could dig
All
it.
right. So you are were you born and raised here in Pittsburgh? Or Okay,
I'm a native.
a native Pittsburgher.
Yeah, I grew up in Stanton Heights.
Okay.
Went to Pittsburgh Public Schools. Graduated from Shenley.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you're very young, so it's like this stuff is not that far away
Oh,
from
goodness.
you. Where'd you go?
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm young in the life grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and compared to me.
Oh. Mm.
So
Yeah,
where
yeah.
did you go to college?
I went to Washington University in St. Louis.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you studied film there.
Film and media studies.
Nice. And how did you like St. Louis?
St. Louis was cool. St. Louis is a lot like Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Very like hometowny.
Mm-hmm.
People from there love it there. A lot of people tend to stay. It has those Midwestern vibes, but with a twinge of South to it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I really got to know St. Louis until after college. I stayed to teach. I taught high school English for 3 years.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. My husband is actually from St. Louis. He
Oh.
was born childhood was Kansas City, but
Okay.
most of his years he claimed St. Louis.
Came to the lighter side.
Yes, he
Came to the better side.
claims St. Louis. So how did you dig teaching?
Oh, teaching. Teaching was an adventure.
What grades was it?
I taught 9 through 12.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I've done some little things here, doing some art teacher types, some teaching artist type things
Right.
here, and I did from third grade on through high school, and yes, high school was the most challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really want to work with anyone but the high schoolers. I've worked with really pre-K through 12,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like I could kind of relate to the high school kids a little bit better. We could have more real conversations. I didn't have to dumb anything down. It
Right.
could be very, this is what it is.
And you didn't find it hard or difficult for being so close to their age that them respecting you a little bit more? Or?
Initially, I thought that was going to be more of an issue than I think it ended up being.
Yeah.
Especially, let's see, my first year, I was 22, so I was 4 years older than my seniors. But, I had to come in and lay down the law. Totally kidding.
Sometimes you gotta. I mean,
Yeah, it was,
it's okay. We're just keeping it real here.
It was a labor of love. I felt like, I had to make my classroom a pretty structured place. And, keep a poker face a lot of the time. But eventually, there was one group of kids that I taught, all 3 years. I just kind of, looped with them. So, they were cool, and we kind of, built some relationships. But there were some doozies,
Challenges.
for sure. But I'm glad I did it. I hope my kids are glad that I taught them.
I'm sure they
Or,
are.
Like, that I didn't ruin their
Is
lives
that
or
something that you would
anything.
like to go back to later? No,
No.
you're done.
I left the classroom because while I came to like teaching, I came to kind of enjoy being in the classroom, and I loved like being in front of my students. I just didn't like the back end of it. I didn't like the lesson planning. Even that was okay. I just didn't like the grading papers. I liked kind of making up the systems, but just like the everyday politics of being in school. Didn't so much love. Also didn't love the early wake ups.
But I mean, you get the summers off.
You do, but literally you spend your whole summer recuperating.
And then planning the next year.
So, but it's not a bad gig. You get all the breaks. You get, the Christmas, the Thanksgiving, the spring break, all the like random holidays. You get PD days. So it's not a bad gig.
Yeah. And, I have mad respect for anybody who goes into teaching because I know personally I could not handle it as a full-time
You
gig.
gotta love it.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't. I wasn't. There were so many other things I wanted to do that I didn't feel like I was 100% there, and I didn't think that was fair to my kids, my coworkers, anybody.
Well, that's a very responsible decision for you to come up. I mean, to think, because there's a lot of people who like, I'm not feeling this, but I'm going to stick with it anyway. Just but
yeah, it's the kids deserve someone who really wants to be great at what they're doing. I think, and that's really the only way that you stay in it, because it is hard.
Yeah,
and you have to have that thing that's just like waking you up and saying yes, like. And I had coworkers who were like, yes, I am excited to go teach every day. I want to go to the professional development. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. And that wasn't quite me.
That's cool. So, and I know you've done a lot of traveling. So once you left St. Louis, once you quit teaching, did you leave St. Louis? And then you went to travel, or you came back to Pittsburgh for a bit?
So I left St. Louis, and then I went to Chicago. I trained new teachers in Chicago for a summer. And then I traveled. So I hit the road. I spent my last year of teaching literally saving up so I could backpack.
And where did you go?
So I backpacked through Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and then I went to Senegal and the Gambia to visit my dad's family for the first time.
What was that like?
It was pretty cool. It was a little bit of culture shock, but in a good way.
Yeah. And
they were just so like warm and like inviting, and it was like, they made me feel like I had always been around. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was overwhelming, but in a good way.
Have you gone back since?
No, I need to though. If they ever hear this, I'm coming sometime. Let me just get my money up again.
Was that? I mean, you did this by yourself? Was this these solo trips? How did that come? You strike me as a very independent young lady and like very focused.
Probably to a fault.
And so was there any second thought in your mind, like, I'm going to do this by myself, or?
No, there wasn't. But I think had I known then what I know now, I probably would have second guessed it a little bit. But no, I think a lot of people looked at me kind of like I was crazy. They're like, why would you do this by yourself? And all I could think of is like, why wouldn't I? It just seemed like a thing that made sense to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm young. I didn't and don't really have any commitments per se besides my student loans and my car loan.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just like, when else am I really going to get the chance to do this? I was like financially ready for it. So
God bless you.
I was just like, peace out.
Because that's wonderful. I am in awe. Just of that age to be able to do that. I mean, I was kind of, I don't know, slower in being able to like just go and spread my wings. Kind of a more, I think we were brought up in a more sheltered household, and mom wanted to keep us close. And I think so I didn't have any opportunities really to like, go out and just take off until I moved here to Pittsburgh, and I was like,
Gotcha.
I got to go. I need
But you did it eventually.
Yes, I did do it eventually, and
that's the key.
And it's like slowly but surely, spreading those wings out there.
There's no time limit on it.
No, just as long as you do it, and you stay true to yourself.
Yeah,
essentially.
Don't
real. Rush yourself. Nobody wants to.
That's real too.
You don't want to get in the middle of some foreign country and
good Lord,
not being ready.
Well, yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
Was that? It sounds like was there a story there? Was there?
Well, I was just like telling somebody a story about how when I like arrived in Dakar in Senegal, I was supposed to meet up with my uncle, but we got our wires crossed in terms of when I was arriving. So I ended up kind of like in a cab, like wandering the streets of Dakar
Oh
for
my.
like a couple hours at night. It was a little awkward. So,
Awkward.
yeah. So that's kind of like that's like my only travel cautionary tale to people. I'm like, just make sure you have like all your ducks in a row before
Yeah.
you get to your destination. But
Well, thank God that's all. That was the worst of it.
all's well that ends well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So when did you come back to Pittsburgh?
I came back here the like around the holidays in 2013.
Okay.
So I've been back a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little over a year.
Yeah. It's weird. The year
And
went
you
fast.
seem to be finding your footing rather well here, trying to carve out a little niche for yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean when I came back I realized I really didn't know that many people. I mean, there were the people that I, grew up with
Right.
and went to high school with. A lot of them have gone to other places. A lot of them, we just kind of lost touch.
Right.
And so I didn't think I was going to stay here. I thought I was just kind of passing through until, I found the next opportunity. But started kind of working in some multimedia stuff, and I was just like, well, it seems like a good time to be in Pittsburgh, so I might as well give it a try.
Yeah, it's most definitely a great time here, and also I've learned here in my time in Pittsburgh is that the artist community here, it's once you find it and once you get in there, like it's a great network
Yeah.
of people, and you can build such fast friendships and make some really great connections, and
Yeah.
just be able to create with and find a bunch of like-minded individuals. It's a good thing, and
I agree. And that's what I'm seeing. Like, I feel like I'm still very, like, new to the club. So there's, like, always new people to meet. And,
yeah.
I'm just kind of starting to scratch the surface. But from what I've seen, it's definitely the barriers to entry are a lot lower here than they are in other places.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we're asking you to prove we're not like putting up a bunch of fronts and a bunch of falsities that you need to come to the game with this X, Y, and Z. It's more like if they recognize passion, or just drive and ability and follow through, then
there's the key there. Follow through.
Most definitely. That is such a big problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So speaking of all of that, you have started a pop-up series.
I have. And, well, yeah, I guess they're still pop-ups. We found, like, a location, so we're going to be at Boom Concepts for the rest of the year.
Okay, so wait, the first ones that you did, that were more...
The original idea, and actually pop-up premieres was always kind of meant to be a filler name. That wasn't supposed to be the name
that wasn't going to be it.
But now people are like, yeah, we're going to the pop-up, and I'm just like... I'm not like some branding guru, so I'm like, is it too late to change the name? But
no, I think you should keep it. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you say you like it,
and especially if folks are just calling it that anyway, it's already making attachment. It's already taking on a life of its own. You really don't have a say in this. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you the main thing that like kept me from like totally committing to it is that its abbreviation, like the acronym, is PUP.
Okay.
And I'm just like, every time because like that's what I call it in my notes, and like when I'm talking to the people who like help me launch it, I'm like, yeah, pup this, pup that, and I'm like, I can't say that to regular people in the world. They're gonna think I'm crazy. But yeah, so pop-up premieres, it's the original goal was to jump around to different venues in the city. So essentially, any given month to be able to do a screening in any given place. Still like that idea, but there's money issues, and you just always have to be so ahead of the ball to work everything out so that you're not just, taking everything down to the wire.
Yeah.
So Daryl Kinzel and Thomas Agnew at Boom Concepts, they kind of like welcomed it with open arms, and they were like, hey, you should come do a couple here in August, and that went well. And then they were just like, well, you should probably just stick around. And I was like, but it's pop, it's like supposed to be like on the road, it's supposed to be mobile. And then I was like, it's silly to turn down help, it's silly to kind of shirk off support when people are giving it so
Definitely.
openly and so generously. So we're going to do it there for the rest of the year. And basically, it's a movie series. We screen films by independent Black filmmakers and new media by content creators. So that can be shorts, that can be web series, docu-series. And really the goal is twofold. Firstly, it's kind of a social thing. So to provide an alternative to the traditional like networking scene. So when you come into a pop-up, it's like, I don't really want to talk to you about what you do for a living. I mean, that's cool, but I'd rather get to know you for like who you are and kind of what you're bringing to the table as a person. And then down the line, sure, we're going to talk about what we do, but it feels less forced when you're just kind of shooting the breeze. And then also just to be a platform for Black film. I think there's a lot of good stuff being made, but it's just really, it's hard to be a filmmaker, period. But to be a Black filmmaker is just like, why am I doing this? Like, it's just so exceedingly difficult. So if I can, you know, in any way help circulate people's work and, you know, get some portion of the public hip to what's being made, then I think I've done a good thing.
Yeah, I think you have. The independent filmmakers, are they all local, or have you been reaching out to folks outside of the city?
There's a whole nother. Well, so far it's been different people from around the country.
Okay.
And I'm trying to maybe make it a little bit more international, so kind of just spread out to the diaspora in general. But it's a challenge, you know, because there's no like name credibility to like pop-up premieres. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is just upstart thing in Pittsburgh. So a couple of filmmakers have been really receptive. They've been like, yeah, we would love to show, you know, our stuff there. But, you know, we have to make this festival run first. So, you know, there's like all these little nooks and crannies.
Yeah, there's a lot of red tape sometimes if they're trying to go about it a certain route.
Yeah. And then also some of the larger distributors have been like super cool, especially with their documentaries. Like you'll send them an email and they'll be like, yeah, we'd love to, you know, get you a copy to screen. And that's been great. But then it's like, oh, you need the money to pay for the screening license. So
right. Well,
learning the ropes.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing like a Kickstarter at all for?
I have.
Okay,
that's
so
all
that's
I can
okay.
say
All
about
right, we'll
that.
leave it there. We will leave that there.
Well, really, I mean, I went to the like the crowdfunding conference that was in town last week.
Yeah.
I went to like a couple of events. And like they were it was like partially sponsored by Indiegogo, and they were like super cool, super accessible, which surprised me because you don't typically think of like international platforms being so like more accessible, ready to help you. And they were just like, oh yeah, talk to this person.
Oh, that's
like,
wonderful.
It was just very, very smooth sailing. So
that's great.
We'll see.
Are you a filmmaker yourself, or are you just appreciative of film?
I'm getting there. One day I would like to make films. Like I do videos now, so you know, I'll like contract with like a nonprofit or like a local organization to shoot a little like a piece for them. So mini documentary work or maybe a promo piece, but I haven't made like any narrative films. But down the line.
What aspect of filmmaking do you most enjoy?
To be honest, the producing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I would love to. I mean, I think like directing and, you know, DP stuff is so cool, but it just sometimes I don't know if I have that like aesthetic vision.
Yeah, or for me personally, it's more like the temperament.
Yeah.
To deal with it, because my favorite parts of filmmaking would be producing or pre-production and then post editing. That's my zhuzh, editing.
Gotcha.
That's what I love to do.
That is not maybe so much my thing. I kind of like what I like about producing is that you can kind of get the bird's eye view, but also be involved in like every other aspect.
Right. So
I would love to be the person who's just behind the scenes, just like making stuff happen. So yeah, I have the script. Yeah, I'm talking to the director. Yeah, I'm involved. You know, just kind of be very hands-on, but not necessarily specifically committed to one aspect of it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. I could see you in that.
Oh, well, thanks. If you know anybody, you know a way for me to get some experience.
Well, I do this little thing called the
I know you
Pittsburgh
do.
48-hour film project.
And that actually terrifies me. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. But
Making
I'm
a film
just
in
like,
48 hours.
yeah, these people are
Girl, I gotta
amazing.
tell you, you learn a lot about yourself doing that. Now, I competed 2 years before I took over as the event producer, and that's when I learned, okay, actually, like directing and camera work, not for me. I don't want to do this. But yeah, you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn what you can get and what you get done in a crunch. And it's like, there are people from like families who are just doing this, have never made a film whatsoever. It's like, oh, we just thought it'd be fun to do with our kids.
Yeah.
To straight up professionals that are every year competing. So,
and that's cool.
Yeah, it's great. And it's always really fun and interesting to see what people come up with.
Yeah.
So, but I think that you should probably maybe get involved.
So how do you,
or even, if you want to help me out.
Oh. Okay. Well, there's an idea. There's a proposition. Well, yeah. I mean, wait, what part of year? It's June, is it?
July this year.
But I imagine you have to start planning yesterday.
We can talk about that later. This is about you.
Dang it! I tried. You see how I tried to
Yeah, exactly. Close.
I have my ways.
So when's the next pop-up premiere series happening?
Good question. So we're going to experiment a little bit on Saturday. So this coming Saturday, Valentine's Day, we're going to do brunch with Black and Sexy TV. Mm-hmm. It's a YouTube network. And so I was the first person to be like, web series? That sounds like real dumb. I was not here for the web series. And I remember one of my best friends, probably back in 2012, 2012, told me about this show, The Couple, that was actually on Black and Sexy TV. And I watched it, and I was like, all right, this is cool. And then I got super deep into teaching, and then I went away. By the time I came back, Black and Sexy had, blown up on the interwebs. Yeah, I mean, they have, over 100,000, subscribers.
Wow.
Some of their stuff gets, well over 200,000 hits. And that's significant for a black run, company, and B, for kind of longer form stuff for YouTube.
Right.
So, their episodes, they started off maybe 6-7 minutes, now they're making movies and releasing them on VHX. So I just really admire the content. It's good, but also their kind of marketing model. They're very involved, on social media, a lot of talking and collaborating with the audience. So needless to say, so we're gonna do brunch. We're gonna do waffles and omelets and have people just come. Cool. And do a mimosa bar. So we're gonna hang out, remix Valentine's Day a little bit.
Awesome. So, yeah. I think this is a really great time for filmmakers, just independent filmmakers, just to be able to have so many platforms to just get your stuff out there. And like you're saying, their marketing aspect of, just YouTube, God, who would have thought it would just be just this thing that's just taking over, and you can just make your stuff and make what you want, how you want, put it out there, and somebody's gonna watch it, and somewhere along the line you will catch a buzz. And it's just man, this is great. I almost wish that this kind of stuff was available when I was in school.
Yeah.
I was just, I couldn't imagine, because I learned to actually cut film.
And see, that's what I wish I knew how to do.
That's such a romance. I have such a romance with that. And even photography, I miss being in the dark room and actually developing. It's, of course, digital is cheaper. Yeah. And a lot less problematic, but there's just something about just getting in there and getting your hands in there, and just and then like I said, when I learned to edit actual film, it was such a beautiful thing, and it just got, man.
And I don't know, I just feel like that makes you kind of just value the process more when you're physically in contact with the footage, and B, when you can't just press undo
to fix
and edit.
Exactly.
There's a lot more care.
You have a finite amount of of time to to you have like, okay, we've got X amount of
Exactly.
reels, and this is what we need to do tonight and get it done.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. It makes it much more personal, and you really do just, you have to think about every shot you take and
Yeah.
make sure that's what you want. And
And
that's what
film
you're doing.
just looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
I love film. I mean, my very first exposure to like anything cinematic was like my dad was is a photographer, and we had a dark room like in the basement,
Nice.
which was really just like his aquarium
Enlarger
in a
and
very large
a sink.
corner. But I took photography classes one summer when I was in like 7th grade, so we'd be in the dark room, and this was like, don't kill me for the age thing, but this is like the early 2000s. So I just
Bless your
distinctly
heart.
remember like Kiss FM being on and like all the songs from that era just like playing while I'm like, you know, messing with exposures and stuff. So it's a very like nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
But I love the dark room. Yeah.
What got you into film in itself? Was there a certain movie? Was there a certain
That's a good question.
something? What was it that drew you in?
I think
Have you just always been a film buff?
I remember the first film I ever really loved was Batman, Tim Burton.
Okay.
I mean, from the time I was like 3, 4. I
Oh, God.
was like obsessed with that movie. I don't know.
It's a good movie.
sorry.
It's a great movie.
But
3 or 4, Batman. Okay,
I know.
that's where we
Sorry,
are.
I was a little younger than that when it came out. But the film that I just kind of remember being like a transformative experience was Love and Basketball
Oh, okay.
for me, just because kind of from a thematic standpoint, I had never seen anyone on screen that looked like me that was doing something that I wanted to do. So
There you go. Yeah.
I was an athlete, like, so all through high school, like that's what I did. I was like the geeky athlete pretty much. I was like
play?
busting my books and also like busting into practice. Basketball.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I just that wasn't directed towards you. It's just I had one of those moments like I remember like when you walked in. I remember that was my first time with us like standing next to each other, and I noticed how tall you were. And then
yeah.
and then it just came like in my notion is like, oh yeah, because people always assumed that I played basketball.
And you didn't?
so no, I didn't at all. I didn't. They're like, oh, I play volleyball. I played nothing. Like, I did nothing athletic, and the closest thing I think I did powder puff football for a couple times.
We weren't allowed to do powder puff because it was like during basketball training.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was just
Yeah,
like-
you could, no, they couldn't spare you.
We would have. I mean, we obviously would have like demolished
Obviously.
everyone. But yeah,
So Love and Basketball was the...
yeah, that was kind of like. But even then, I didn't say to myself, "Oh, I want to make movies." I just wanted to be Monica. I wanted to be the girl who was like in the WNBA. I remember being in high school and wanting to take classes at like Pittsburgh filmmakers, but again, basketball literally took up all of my time. So I got to college. That was the first time I could take a film course. I took the history of African American cinema my freshman year, and I went in as a bio major.
Okay.
I wanted to be like a physical therapist. Well, I don't know where that came from. I think because I was always in physical therapy.
Okay,
from
yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, you were you were doing basketball for,
Yeah.
what, like all 4 years in high school?
Oh yeah, I started playing basketball like when I was 6.
Oh, yeah, so you had a definite connection
Yeah.
with physical therapy.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, but I took that class and I was just like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm gonna major in.
Huh.
And Wash U is it's a small school, private school, but very researchy. Pretty much everybody goes there to, if you want to be in science or engineering or medicine, Wash U, or business, Wash U's your bet. But very small film program. I think there were like 20 of us film majors in my graduating class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so super small classes. Even our lectures were like 30, 40 people.
Oh, man.
So you definitely got a lot of like hands-on
It seems like a great ratio, though.
Yeah. I just wish it was very theory-based. So we did a lot of
Okay.
writing, we did a lot of criticism, but not a lot of filmmaking.
Okay.
So
Did you ever have you written a script?
yes.
A couple? A
I
few?
initially wanted to be a screenwriter
Okay.
when I came out of school, but and then I wrote plays also in
Oh,
college.
okay.
So that was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I was like, well, I can't move to New York for a summer to take an unpaid internship, so that's probably not gonna happen right now. But yeah, I didn't really write that much when I was teaching. I just kind of leaned on that writing experience to teach it, but didn't actually do it a lot myself.
It wasn't until you actually took the class when you decided that that's what your major was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, something just like clicked. It was just like, because I think film, from what I saw of it at that point, just combined so many of the things that I loved. I loved history. I loved writing. I loved just communication. I loved photography. So it was just like, this feels
just
like
makes
it
sense.
makes sense. And then I was terrified to tell my parents because I was
Why?
like, nobody's a film major. You don't make money doing this. They were super cool about it. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, from what I know of your parents, and I work in the same company as your mother,
Right.
but I don't really work with her. But, she seems like she's be all about, the creative aspect and you going forward with that, and to think that, because we need more Black narratives in entertainment and media. And so, yeah, I could totally see your mom.
Well, she's a photographer in her own right. So.
Yeah, actually, your mom reminds me a lot of my mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Val.
Exactly.
She's a cool one.
Yep. And shout out to Miss Deanna while we're at it. My mom.
Yes. Mom love.
Okay, so, all right, the pop-up series. You said your next one is going to be this weekend.
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Yep.
And you don't have another one planned yet after that, or are we still
we're
keep it
actually
at
gonna
Boom
go.
Concepts?
We're gonna keep it at Boom, so we're gonna go every other month. So it'll be March,
April,
May,
March, right?
July, and then we're gonna take a 2-month hiatus, and we're gonna do something bigger in October, kind of like a month-long push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been thinking about maybe going into any of the independent theaters here, like the Hollywood or Row House or?
I have for sure, but I also, again, the original premise was to kind of put the
Bounce
films
around.
in like non-theatrical venues,
Okay.
just to kind of, and the real nitty gritty of it was to kind of try to tie in the location with the theme of the film.
Okay.
For example, let's say I want to show Love and Basketball. Maybe we show it at a basketball court.
Right.
So it's a little cheesy, but just kind of like this immersive
I like it.
movie experience.
I love movie events, like alternative movie viewing.
Yeah.
Because the platforms of being able to you can watch a movie on your phone these days, and it's just kind of like, and even me, I am guilty of this, as to where like, I don't know if I really need to go out to the movie theater and go see this movie. It's like, so
exactly.
I like to have like things like, sing-alongs or like a whole theme party going along with it or something like that. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean myself, I watch a ton of movies and TV, but I do it by myself, right in front of my computer screen. So it's like, all right, let's bring people out, let's talk about it, and let's just kind of just use this to do some other things. It doesn't have to begin and end that film, because what I'm realizing is, I'll say to people, yeah, I have a film series, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. Like, people don't really
get it.
Movies aren't really that big of a deal to a lot of people, I
right
think. And it's like something I'm slowly coming around to, I guess. Like, for most, I won't say most, for a lot of people, movies are just like, okay, that, whatever, let's go to the red box. Like, it's not something that a lot of people put a lot of, like, active thought into it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I have this film, from this really great filmmaker out of Brooklyn, and, it got this and this and that award, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, that's cool. And I'm like,
yeah, okay. Some people, don't get it. It's like, so folks, if you're listening, you're not one of those people that just really get it. Imagine, like, if you collect wine, or if you are a wine connoisseur, imagine you get a very good Bordeaux. I'm just talking words now. I don't even know. From like 1986 in a vineyard, I don't know,
There you
in
go.
Napa.
Boom.
My friend Jamila is probably screaming right now because she is a wine connoisseur. But yeah, so it's just like that. It's like you're finding like that niche. Like it's like, oh my God, there's this film from so and so, and it was got these awards and this award, and it hasn't been in print for like
Right.
30 years,
Right.
and it's just like, yeah.
But at the same time, that's not necessarily the goal. The goal isn't to turn everybody into this like film lover who's
Right.
like checking IndieWire and refreshing every 30 minutes like I do. It's like that's
that
not the
too.
goal. The goal is just to say it's almost presentational. Hey, here's what's out here. It's not just Tyler Perry and Spike Lee before 94 and loved Dear White People, but it's not just that. It's not just these things that flash across our screen,
Right.
Every now and again. There are people working and
It's not just the stuff that big media in Hollywood deems
Exactly.
worthy
exactly
to put out there.
because that's what happens. I mean, people get it's like a draft. People
Right.
get chosen. So,
Yeah.
let's choose ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need more narratives for us, and we just need more representation.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, and for you to mention that Love and Basketball was the first film that you saw someone like you doing something that you wanted to do, and it's really telling, and it's great that you got that experience, but it's also pretty sad that it took so long
Yeah.
for that, because I quite frankly I don't even really recall what the first film was for me that I saw someone that looked like me that was doing something that I wanted to do or that I thought I could be doing.
Yeah.
So
Has it been made yet?
maybe not. I don't know. I can't even think about. I don't know. I see
Yeah.
so many movies.
Yeah.
They all just kind of
I feel you on that
sadly run.
blend.
Yeah, after a while.
Yeah.
But okay, so do you have a website or Facebook page for Papa?
Yes. Well, working on the Facebook page thing. I have like a odd aversion to social media sometimes. I'm like trying to be. Initially I was like, I'm a purist. We're gonna do this by word of mouth, very grassroots.
I'm gonna draw flyers.
I mean, literally, that's almost pretty much what it was. But so the website for pop-up premieres is popuppremiers.wordpress.com.
Okay.
We should probably get like just a full out domain name for that.
You're working on it. You'll get there.
Baby steps.
Right.
And yeah, so on there we have just kind of like a summary of what the pop-ups are. Also, there's like a page for directors to keep a lookout for, like Black directors.
Oh, great.
Like 10 Black films to keep a lookout for, and also new media. So some shorts and web series that I think would be good for people to see.
Awesome. That's pretty great.
So, yeah.
And okay, you're working on the Facebook page, and you probably don't have a Twitter for it yet.
That'll happen. It might be tomorrow. I mean, the Facebook page exists. It's just not published yet.
Okay.
So I might go ahead and push that button tomorrow.
Okay, so make sure you go check out Pop-Up Premiere Series.wordpress.
Popuppremiers.wordpress.com.
Gotcha. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back with your top 5. Did you know that the Rugged Angel podcast is part of a network of podcasts? Down to Watch is a husband and wife team that chats about music, movies, and TV shows, but has a soft spot for one-season wonders and cult classics. The Scandalized podcast is a group of friends who gather together to get their feelings out after each episode of the Shonda Rhimes hit Scandal. All 3 are Rugged Angel productions and can be found on soundcloud.com/ruggedangel and at ruggedangel.com. You can follow Down to Watch on Twitter at DTW Podcast or like Down to Watch Podcast on Facebook, and you can like the Scandalized Podcast on Facebook as well. All right, so we are back, and we are doing the top 5, which I like to try to do every. I mean, this is only the third episode, but this is my.
I like the number 3.
Okay,
Good?
cool. All right, excellent. So, I have assigned Njaimeh top 5 black filmmakers. Did you make your list? You have it?
I do. Well, actually, I thought it was top 5 filmmakers.
Oh, really?
But most of them are black anyway, so that's cool.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah. So this is in no particular order.
Okay.
Gotta give a nod to Ava DuVernay because
Amen.
what I like about Ava's work specifically is that she really gives a lot of attention to like the interior lives of black women.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's very kind of careful and thoughtful about how she crafts these women's stories. So in her, longer pieces, even, Selma, it's not just about Dr. King. It's, there are several moments where it's equally, if not more, about Coretta.
Okay.
So I dig that. And I just think she's so like smart and business savvy and just on it. So love it.
Full disclosure, I have not seen Selma yet. Because I am a crybaby.
Oh gosh.
And I just really didn't. I just haven't been in the mood to go to the theater and just like bawl my eyes out.
It's a lot. Like I knew it was gonna be like a. People were like, "Yeah, I cried," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm not like a crier in real life, but I'm definitely like a movie crier.
Yeah, definitely. Movies, TV shows
Silent
will
tears.
get me.
Silent tears, yeah. But that one, I had to like suppress sobs.
Oh God, no!
It was it was a lot.
Yeah, when I saw Malcolm X in the theater, I was sobbing like hardcore. Like I don't even remember who I was with, so they thought something was terribly wrong.
Yeah, I was just like wondering because I like had a with New Voices Pittsburgh, we organized like a meetup for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like supposed to be talking to people afterwards, and I was just wandering around like, what just happened? This is really a lot right now. And I'm like, it's always my dilemma. And then I'll move on. It's always my dilemma. I'm like, do I wipe the tears or do I just try to like be a thug and like just let them fall? And then like by the time they get to like your V-neck, it's just like, I should have just wiped them. Because I'm like, I'm not supposed to be like the crier, so I'm like easing my sleeve up, but I'm just like wiping, and I'm like, F it, I have no shame. Somebody give me a tissue. It's bad. The Best Man Holiday was the other movie. I was like,
oh really?
Yeah, I'm whatever. I just, I am what I am.
Yeah, it happens.
And then so I was talking about Love and Basketball. So Gina Prince-Bythewood, love her work. And she hasn't done like a ton of feature films, but I just think she's another one who we so rarely get stories about like black women. I think the way we are, not over dramatized,
right? We're not
stereotyped.
We're not the angry black woman, and we're not the all-knowing, all-seeing, the magical Negro.
Exactly, none of that. We're just people, and I think she does that well. Spike. You gotta give it to Spike. Right. Again, particularly his earlier work. She's gotta have it through. I'd say Crooklyn is probably the last. Like, I think that's the classic.
I really, really loved Crooklyn.
Yeah,
that was
Crooklyn. Like makes me nostalgic for an era that I wasn't even thought of.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It just makes you want.
Like that's what the 70s.
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was like 3 at the oldest in like in the 70s. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's see. If we're gonna make it black directors, well, I think probably one of my favorite movies of all time, Love Jones. So I guess Theodore Witcher. Even though he never made another movie.
Right. What was that?
Which is criminal.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I guess it's just a business. I don't fully know either, but love that movie. And I think we need something like that again.
Yeah, just a more real black love story.
Yeah, and it was so atmospheric. It's so like captured that time and place, like that poetry scene.
Is that like 90s?
In the 90s, yeah, mid 90s. The fashions, kind of like the Afrocentric.
Yeah, it's definitely
vibe, but
it's like a time capsule right back. That
yeah, and
one more.
I feel like I didn't do my homework. Like I walked into school without a lesson fully planned. My other two were going to be David Fincher.
Oh my God, he's like one of my.
Let's just make.
Okay,
he's not black, but whatever.
Okay, let's just make it filmmakers then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, David Fincher. I did realize this year was like, you know what? I guess he's like one of my favorite directors because I love everything that man has done, and I wasn't gonna go see Gone Girl because I'm not a Ben Affleck fan at all, and I was just like, ugh, Ben Affleck, whatever.
See, I still haven't seen it for that reason.
You know what?
But I heard it was good.
The reasons why we don't like Ben Affleck, that's what makes him perfect for that role.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know what? I get it now. So I read the book, and then I saw the movie, and I've watched it 3 times. Like, I bought it on DVD, and then I've watched it 3 times since I've had it. Like,
you might
in the
have
last
just given me something to do tonight because I know it's
very good.
It's on iTunes now.
Oh yeah,
you can rent
it's very good.
Okay.
So I also did a list, and since we've opened it up to everyone, I'll go ahead and let David on my list. Then my other ones were I had Spike Lee, obviously. I'll let David take Gordon Parks' place.
You know, I thought about saying Gordon Parks.
But, I mean, I've only really, like, The Learning Tree was the only thing that I could think of. And I think that's might be the only feature. Maybe there's another one.
I feel like he did a blaxploitation.
He may have. Now, I haven't seen too many blaxploitation films, and that's not really, my thing.
And also Gordon Parks, the photography. I feel like you just gotta, like, he would have been like a crazy DP.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. Yeah. Speaking of like that, well, Ernest Dickerson was on my list.
That's a good one.
Mostly because like his cinematography and Spike Lee's movies and Juice. My God, like I saw that in the '90s, and then I went back and saw it again like this year or last year, and I was like, I forgot how damn good this movie was. Like, it's so good. And then just for the simple, and also like Ernest and all his TV directing that he's been doing, like he's been kicking it, like kicking ass all over the place. And I love when I usually can tell when like it's an episode of The Walking Dead that he's done, and it's just like, oh, that's
very distinctive. Yeah, it's true.
Cassie Lemons, who Eve's Bayou, like that's my joint. I love that. And Robert Townsend. He's probably the main reason why I who got me into thinking that I could participate in film in some way, shape, or form.
Nice.
Was it Hollywood Shuffle that I saw? I don't remember which one, but between Hollywood Shuffle and The 5 Heartbeats, like those two.
It's just, they just won't ever get old. Like,
no.
I just remember being in college and we just throw on The 5 Heartbeats, just selected scenes.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Particularly the opening scene, when the first song, like when he slides in.
See, we would back it up to when dude jumped through the window. And then when they hit the stage, my roommate loved that.
When Big Red has him
dangling over
the window.
But my favorite scene is, maybe not my favorite, there's a lot of favorites, but I love the song at the end, I Feel Like Going Home.
Oh my God.
Going On.
Yeah, I feel like going on that.
And,
oh my God, chills every time.
Eddie Kane Jr.
Oh, can't nobody sing like Eddie Kane Jr.
That's so funny.
And then, when they run into him in the street, oh, nights like this, I wish.
I will say, and then I'll leave it alone. The only thing I don't understand about that movie is why, what's Leon's name in the movie? Anyway, why are his kids so young?
True that. Yeah.
He should have, they should be.
Yeah, those kids should have been much older. Yeah, definitely. So, it was a little.
It's what happens when you see a movie too many times.
Right.
I just had to put that out
A lot
there.
of questions get formed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a good list.
Oh, yeah. Also, I just wanted like an honorable mention to Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
I can't wait to see what else he does.
Yeah, and there's like a nice little young breed, like Shaka King.
Yeah, and Justin
Simeon. Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to their next steps because I mean, Dear White People, I loved that movie so much.
Yeah, and Lena Waithe, so the producer, who kind of was there for the whole process. She's a writer.
Okay.
Writer producer. But she has some cool projects in the works. So very kind of distinctive young black woman voice coming through the ranks. Issa Rae.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Issa
Rae.
vein.
Yeah. I'm really proud of Issa Rae for like what she's accomplished, and she just got a deal with HBO.
Yep.
God bless her, man. That's awesome. And I guess her book is just released and she's going on a book tour now.
Yep. Maybe she'll come here. Doubt it.
I didn't see it on the list. I think the
Should
closest was
that.
DC.
It's cool.
Yeah.
One day, Pittsburgh will be one of those destinations.
Yes, I really hope so because as of right now, I'm sick and tired of getting the shaft. And speaking of, like Robert Townsend is coming to Washington, PA for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, he's doing a speaking engagement at one of the colleges or something like that, and it's like whatever it is, it's like an hour outside of Pittsburgh. And I was like really I'm like, oh my god, Robert Townsend is coming to Pittsburgh, and it's like, no, not really. And it's winter, and I mean, I don't know, it's still I haven't completely given up.
On
like
your list,
yeah, exactly.
so.
Like, and I think I like tweeted him a happy birthday one day, and like a couple years ago, and it was like the reason why I'm into filmmaking, and then he was like, thanks, like tweeted me back, and I was like, yeah.
Yes, it's the little thing.
It is. God bless Twitter.
I heard that.
So, are there anything else that we should be on the lookout for with you?
Well, I'm gonna be working.
Besides your feature film coming out and your.
Oh, I mean, just that. Well, getting towards that. So this year I'm going to be a resident with Most Wanted Fine Arts.
Oh yeah.
So I'm working on a photo essay. I'm gonna be documenting 50 Black women in Pittsburgh for the next year.
That's awesome.
So that's gonna be my. I don't know what size baby, but. There's pop-ups and then there's this. So
yeah, I look forward to seeing that. So when do you think you'll be like you're gonna do this for the year?
Yeah, so I'll be like taking the pictures for the next like 7 to 9 months.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Have you chosen all your
I can't disclose that.
Well, I don't want to know names. But.
No, I have chosen the vast majority of the people. Some spots I'm gonna leave open just for kind of like just roll up on people like, who are you?
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and the goal is to do 5 women from each decade. So
oh, cool.
Youngest starting with like the aughts, all the way up through 100.
Wow, that's really great. I can't wait to see that.
I can't wait for it to be seen, Lord willing. We'll see.
Well, thank you once again, Njaimeh, for
thanks for having me. You said well.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and spending some time with me. I'm happy to have gotten to know you a little bit better, and like I've seen you around, and we're Facebook friends and stuff. But
I mean, and today that's kind of all that really counts.
I'm
as
totally
long
kidding. As you like at least 1 or 2 of my posts, then we're besties.
We're cool. I'm totally kidding, and we scrapped that from like any possible record ever.
It's definitely not. She's joking. It was a joke.
Very much so a joke.
All right. So until next time. These Rugged Angels are off. Thanks for listening. Bye. This has been a Rugged Angel production.